Hey folks, we're in the IkeLive shop. We're going to be installing an Ultralight 1103AC 3 horsepower electric outboard on Ike's boat right here, Hobie Pro Angler 12360.
Yes. Very excited. This is something I've wanted now for a long time. This is going to give me a lot more options on what I can do with this 360. So fun fishing, filming going Ike. I can go longer. I can cover more water. I can traverse greater distances. And then on the competitive side, and I'm a competitive person, this is going to give me the ability to practice more water, get to the spot faster, get to the spots first. I'm excited. Hit more spots in the tournaments. I'm excited. So for me, this isn't just a little modification. This is a key upgrade, and looking forward to it. Look forward to learning from Trey today. Trey's going to show me a lot of stuff. I can't wait.
Yeah, the Hobie Pro Angler is one of the most common boats that we rig, especially with this new 1103 motor. Like Ike said, it allows you to go farther, longer, explore more water in pre-fishing, find those areas you need on the fishing day. So, and the Hobie makes it fairly easy to rig because of all the hull access that we have. So it's pretty straightforward, and we're able to tuck all the controls out of the way so they don't interfere with any other accessories.
Nice. Trey, can you take us through all the different parts that we have? I know we got the motor here.
Oh, look at this. It's laid out.
So,
wow, hold on a second. This is like Christmas. Where's the tree at? This is like Christmas all over again. I love this.
Yep. So first off, you've already got a power pole on your kayak. So
yep.
we'll take the power pole mount off of there because that was made for the power pole, not for the power pole and the motor.
Right.
So we have a 1/4-inch aluminum adapter plate that will replace that. It's real rigid. It's made to withstand the forces of the motor and the power pole together.
Heavy duty. Yeah.
So, and then the mount itself right there is what allows to mount the motor and the power pole. And then to protect the motor, we've got the rock guard. You can
super key.
Pretty much beat the snot out of this thing, and we do it all the time. You saw my prop yesterday.
Oh yeah, super key. Now listen to me. Trey just said it, but when you're fishing around a lot of nasty stuff, I don't care if it's rock in the upper Susquehanna, wood, stumps, that's a key piece of equipment. And I've seen it in action on Brian the Carpenter's Torqeedo. I've seen how good that thing performs, so that's awesome.
Yeah, when we get into shallow water, we don't have to worry about, hurting the motor, right? Or damaging anything.
Yep.
We just blow through it and move on and keep fishing.
Yep.
So we're going to set it up with Select Design foot pedals. They have about 10 to 12 inches of adjustment, so they can be adjusted to different people with different leg lengths.
Yep.
We're going to run nylon tubing through the hull so it's clean. There's no cord sticking out in the way, nothing to get tangled up. We use Spectra cord. I'm pretty sure this has like a 700-pound tensile strength. So it's really stout, but it's small, it's flexible, and it's self-lubricating. So it's really smooth. It's a lot smoother than we used to use stainless steel cable.
Right.
And this doesn't wear on the tubing as bad. It lasts longer, and the best part about this is if you're rigging another boat, you can untie it and retie it on another boat. The stainless steel cable, once you crimp it, you got to cut it and get new.
Right.
We use Night Eyes S-beaners. They're stainless steel. They have a locking mechanism so they can't come off. Hobie Atrial accessories for mounting the foot pegs and your raise cord and the reverse lock. We have a bulletproof steering triangle. So the one that comes with the motor is plastic. It works fine, but it can break if you put too much force on it. A lot of times it's just by accident, of course, for someone to break the plastic one. So we came out with a billet aluminum one. You're not breaking this thing,
right? And
it grips the shaft of the motor a little bit better.
Yeah.
It doesn't spin. We never have to worry about any adjustments on the water or anything with that.
Cool upgrade right there.
I've got a flush mount throttle mount for the Torqeedo throttle. It's a little piece of Delrin that we use. Delrin's a real rigid plastic. It works well for the marine industry. You can put the throttle on that, and we have a different setup over here with the ball mount on how to put it on the H-rail, and you'll have full adjustability. So if you get out on the water, wherever we put it, and it's not comfortable, you can move that at many different angles to see how it works for you. different yak attack accessories. The tie down eyelets, they're pretty key for running the spectra cord through because it's smooth. The stealth pulleys for the 1103 is a little heavier, so sometimes it's easier to pull it towards you instead of pull it or away from you.
Right. And
those stealth pulleys allow us to get that cord around, through, and back, so you get that angle that you need to make it a little easier to raise.
Right.
And anybody running a kayak on water with big boats in low light, you should definitely have some type of 360 light.
I agree.
And there's the Yak Attack Carbon Pro there.
Yeah, big bodies of water especially, right? Rivers, reservoirs, that's a must.
I've been on a big boat myself, and sometimes it's just you're focused on everything, the big picture, and it's hard to see, you know, especially if you're coming around a corner or you're near a bank or something.
Yep.
So the motor itself,
woo! There it goes.
This is how it comes in the box. Everything's got its own special little place so it doesn't get damaged in shipping. We won't be using this today because our mount replaces that. But the motor's in there, your throttle control, the 915 watt-hour battery.
Yep. I know that one.
Yep. And it's lightweight. I think the whole system weighs like right around 40 pounds.
Wow.
And once it's mounted and everything, it'll be a little bit heavier with our adapter plate because it's just a bigger piece of material.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's lightweight. It's last. I have not personally ran mine dead in one day. On a normal day of fishing, if you just go out and you're just running around at full speed, it will drain the battery faster. But you know, when we're fishing, we're trying to get to the spot as fast as we can.
Yeah.
And then if you're using the motor to hold in current or something, it uses next to no power.
Right.
Like it'll go all day.
Yeah.
But some other Yak Attack accessories down there, the Mighty Mount track systems.
Yep.
We've got the rod holders, the panfish camera pole there, the cup holders. Everybody needs a cup holder on the kayak because, let's be honest, we don't use it for cups. We use them for all of our lures and stuff that we take off.
Weights,
yeah,
plastics.
Yep. So we're not just throwing that stuff in the water because nobody wants to be doing that. The through hull wiring kits, we use those a lot. They seal really well. You drill, I believe it's a 1-inch hole in the hull, and then you've got these rubber grommets that fit different size wires, and then when you put them on, it's completely sealed. You don't have to worry about any water getting in.
Yeah.
Then we've got the Mighty bolts with the plastic wing knobs, and the wing knobs are really nice because there's no sharp edges on them.
Right.
Say you're fishing around and your line rubs over one, it doesn't get caught or snagged.
That's a kiss of death.
Yep. Yep. You don't have to worry about any of that.
That's nice.
So,
man, I love this Yak Attack stuff. Shout out to Yak Attack for providing some of this gear. This is awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the stuff that we sell in our shop because it's proven it works really well. It's the good company to deal with. So, we use all their stuff.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, this is amazing. I'm having an opportunity to turn my kayak into a souped up full-time fishing rig. When we're done today, Trey, this is going to be as nice, if not nicer, than the rig that I use on tour. Yeah. And everything's in a kayak. So
you're
cannot wait.
You're going to be using this right away.
I'm using this right away. I'm throwing myself into the fire. I've got 4 professional kayak events I'm fishing this year. Both the KBF, BASS has a kayak event on the Upper Chesapeake Bay, along with a few Hobie events this year. So, man, I'm all in. The nice thing for me is I've been fishing my whole life. I've been tournament fishing for 26 years, but kayak tournament fishing is still new to me. I'm still a newbie. So I like it because I feel energized. I feel like I have a lot to learn. I want to win one. You know, really, that's my goal, is to win one. And I really believe everything that you see here, everything we just talked about, I believe all this stuff will help me win my first kayak event this year. So looking forward to it.
So we're sort of filming this from 2 different angles. Got Justin here who's going to be filming this. Where's your version going to be?
Our version is going to be here at Mike Iaconelli on YouTube. You go to youtube.com/goandike. You'll find this whole build out and plenty of other walkthroughs.
Yes. Trey, that looks clean as hell, man. I mean, clean.
Anything we make, we try to make it so you don't have to drill any holes in your kayak. We try
Yeah.
to use existing brass inserts. Actually, the older Hobies had brass inserts back here,
Yep.
but they've since switched to brass inserts up here and then regular
in the
plastic
back.
screws back here.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the other thing we do too. We put threads and everything, so you're not having to hold the nuts on the bottom.
Right.
Just trying to make it easy for the consumer.
Easy on, easy off.
There's a lot of guys rigging kayaks that don't have a whole lot of knowledge when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Like me.
You know, so when
Like me.
when we make plates, we make install videos.
Right.
Because if you're like me, when I'm reading directions, I'm looking at pictures.
Yeah.
Well, an install video is more appealing to me than
Yeah.
paper directions.
Yeah. So if somebody's watching this over my channel and they're saying, man, I got to get one of these. They can watch a video on YouTube. Where can they find the install videos?
On our website, there's a link for install videos. So all of
Okay.
our install videos are on there. We do all our own website editing too.
Yep.
So we put the install video on the bottom of every product page. So you
Gotcha.
go to buy this plate, the link will be in the description.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Try to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So what's that? That's probably about 14 inch. No, it's a little more. 16 inches off the back. 18 inches. What
The
is it?
whole mount is, I think, 18 inches.
Okay.
So
Maybe
we're looking
14 inches. 16 inches off the back.
about 16 inches.
Yeah.
So we're taking the bracket off of the Hobie adapter plate that Hobie makes so we can reapply it to the new mount.
Trey knows what he's doing. I trust him. I put some holes in this thing and they were all wrong. I did some bad holes in this one. So.
Trey, talk about plastic welding holes that are wrong.
Okay. Well, I got a buddy. Jake Harshman likes putting holes in his boat.
Holes
He doesn't-
everywhere.
He doesn't like doing it, but he's not bashful about it. And that man can put some holes in a boat. So I've YouTube University how to plastic weld.
Yeah.
And I started out with a screwdriver and a torch. You heat the screwdriver up, you heat the area up that you're plastic welding, you get plastic shavings that match what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then you use that screwdriver like a butter knife and just smear it all in and get it all nice and thick. And it just takes time because you're constantly heating the screwdriver.
Yeah.
And then I found out that you can use a soldering iron for the same thing. It stays hot.
Yeah.
Like same thing. Instead of using a torch to heat the plastic you're going to weld, you run this across it, dribble a little bit of shavings on it, and then butter knife.
Wow.
As smooth as you can.
Yeah.
We're running the foot controls. We're gonna put a 90-degree adapter right here, and then there's a Hobie Atrial accessory we'll put here that we can bolt to this side. So
Yep.
it'll have 2 points of contact. We'll actually run your depth finder behind it. It'll help hold that in place.
Yep.
And then it's there, and like I said, these things, you can adjust this pedal all the way to here, and then
Slide. Yep.
and we like using these because it's such a long track. It's a long, smooth surface for it to slide on. If it's shorter, sometimes it tends to bind, get sand or something in
Gotcha.
there. But
Yep.
this longer one, it stays smoother longer. You don't have to worry about it binding up or slowing you down.
That makes sense.
But I usually hold these up, depending on the kayak, is where the hole goes. This one, we go right here because it's not a paralleled surface. It's harder to put tubing in a parallel surface because of the angle it comes out. So this is more of a flatter side, so I'll drill the hole in on an angle and then I'll flatten that tubing out. We use a 3/16 black nylon tubing,
Yep.
and then we'll flatten the end out, mushroom it so it doesn't pull back through, and then your cord will come at as straight a line as possible.
Gotcha.
So it works smooth.
Yep. Gotcha.
It's going somewhere.
Feel anything yet? I've got my fingers just on top of the foam blocks. I don't feel anything.
Nope. Going on a circle. That's what it's doing. So it's easiest if you can push the tubing straight through, but sometimes the tubing is just not stiff enough to make it past all the obstructions in the hull. So I use a stiff piece of wire, like a snake, put the tubing on the end, and feed it through.
What is the wire?
The wire is actually high tensile fencing wire for like cattle fencing.
I got it, folks. I got it. Look at that. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my sponsors, my mom for having me.
We'll feed that on there. And that just basically works as a line guide to line it up on the end. And then we got it out.
Look at that.
So we heat the end of the tubing without melting it. You just want to make it pliable, and I've made a tool that fits in here that you can use to smash the end, and it just mushrooms it out so it doesn't pull right through that hole. It's important to drill a 3/16 hole, which is the exact same size as the tubing, so that it fits tight, so when you go to pull it back through, it doesn't just keep going.
Yep.
So you may have to do it a couple of times.
Yeah, you want to make that little flared section on it.
We're getting ready to hook up the foot control section of this motor install. We've got different accessories that make this happen. The Select Designs slide foot pedals that we've already talked about, they're really great for this whole setup because it just the way they work smooth and everything. Hobie accessories for the Atrial for this specific setup, the 12 and the 14, is exactly the same. We've done quite a few of them. You use this. It's an H-bar clamp, and it has a little a bolt hole on the end, and there's the part number. It's the H-bar rail mount, and then what that does, it gives you a point of contact for the back part of the foot controls. So we'll do one of those on each side, and then there's a 90-degree Mighty Mount adapter. There are two different kinds of these. They will both work. We're actually working with Yak Attack so we can get these, and we're going to put together a Hobie specific kit. So you can go to our website and order a Hobie specific foot control steering kit. It'll have your tubing, your cord, everything that you would need, foot controls to mount, foot steering for your Hobie. It just simplifies everything. They can go to the website and say, hey, I need that, instead of trying to put a whole parts list together. You've got the Yak Attack Mighty bolts, which will work up here in the existing track in this accessories panel from the Hobie, and then that's where the 90-degree will go. So you have a point of contact here, and then one of these back here that we're getting ready to install, and then the foot pegs will mount directly to those. Makes it really simple, and it also keeps your foot pegs away from your Mirage Drive. You don't ever have to worry about, hey, I got to move my foot pegs so they're not interfering with the Mirage Drive. They'll never interfere. Normally when we mount these, the 90-degree adapters go as far back to the Hobie Atrial that you can, because I don't think you'd have to be really tall like Jeff Little to have your foot controls even farther forward. But for this, it gives you that adjustability, and it'll fit pretty much anybody. This side, we've already got it mounted. Like I said, it's a smooth transition here for this, and then it's a fully adjustable pedal system. And then your cord goes here, goes back in through the tubing, and then goes out the back of the boat where we ran that tubing. Got our entry points for our tubing here. So I'm just going to take the cord and push it through till it comes out the back. And there's 25 foot of cord, so we have more than enough. I always cut extra. And this cord, it actually had a question the other day from a customer, what do I need to use to pull this cord through the tubing? I said, no, it's stiff enough, it'll go on its own. Right. It's not as stiff as stainless steel cable, but it's stiff enough to push through, and like I said, this stuff is like self-lubricating, and it works a lot smoother than the stainless steel. It's a lot more forgiving. There it is. Just fold it over, and you kind of get an idea of about how far you want your knot to be, and then fold it back over this way, back to where it goes through the foot pegs, and just start tightly wrapping. And then when you go to cinch it down, it will only get tighter. It won't loosen up.
Right.
but then it's easy to take apart if you ever need to take it apart.
Yeah.
Like I said, to use the same cord to rig another boat or something like that. This also gives you a little extra here if you ever need to rig a boat that's a little longer. You can actually use up some Spectra cord here, so when you take it apart you have extra.
Right.
And if you do it right, and you get lucky, like I just did, you run your tag line all the way to the end, and then when you cinch it down, you don't have to cut any off. And then I usually take a pair of pliers and pull on the tag end just to really tighten it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like I said, that doesn't get loose. And to pull it apart, you take a pair of pliers and pull that out and unwrap it, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right, so we took the motor out of the box. We've laid out everything that we're going to need. There's a bag of hardware. We will be using the carabiners and stuff out of here, and probably the track nuts. The cam locks, they make it easy to make adjustments on the fly. You don't need any tools. Flip the cam open and you can make your adjustments and stuff. When you get it out of the box, you have to put the profile in place. It comes shipped with this is the profile, and it's turned sideways for shipping reasons. And all you gotta do is fit this rubber grommet in there and then slide it down right over those. There's little prongs that stick up so that it doesn't spin on the profile. Slide the collar down, make it straight, and it's an 8mm socket for here, and then it's a 4mm Allen wrench for this side. And you don't really have to crank down on it a lot. Just enough to stop that profile from sliding up and down. We'll slide the pivot drum, slide the cord up through it. Steering triangles next. The flat part on the top. And then we're going to use this collar for this setup because we want to get the motor as low in the water as possible. The steering triangle will be what adjusts the motor height up and down, and then this collar will hold your raise bar to get your raise point up as high as possible, because that gives you more leverage when you lift this motor. This motor weighs more than the 403 motor, and if you don't have enough leverage, it can be a little bit of a job to get it up, but you know, doing this really helps with that. Alright, then once you get the nut to the point to where the cam lock is ready to engage, you want to center your steering triangle so the motor and the steering triangle are forming a right angle. So your motor's pointing straight, your steering triangle is side to side. So your steering triangle's on there. And it's all designed so that it'll have a full 180 degrees of steering, and nothing is going to impede the steering. When you use the standard steering triangle, there are stops on this thing that won't allow it to steer too far. This steering triangle does not have those same stops, so you'll just get a little bit more steering out of it. Those stops are a safety feature so that you don't get in this kayak and you have it, you know, hard right, hit the throttle and throw yourself out of it. That's why it's important to wear the kill switch at all times in case you do roll out of the kayak, because it'll shut the motor down. And the raise bar goes in the back. There. So the motor's on there. We try to keep it, so with the Pro Angler, you don't need a whole lot of water for that prop to actually work without cavitating or ventilating or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And the Pro Angler, when you get underway, it'll squat. So you really don't need a whole lot of motor down in the water, and this will allow you to run shallower too,
Right.
keeping it up as high as possible.
Yeah.
So with that done, we can start trying to, we'll get these hooked up. We'll use Night Eyes S-Beaners, like I said, they're stainless steel, not the aluminum ones, the stainless steel ones, they have a little bit more of a, you know, they're stronger. So we like to use these, and they've got the locking mechanism so that you don't have to worry about them ever coming off. I'll just run it through until the line is tight without pulling the pedals, with it centered, and I'll pinch it. And then I'll take this off so that it's pinched there, and we use the same knot that we used up front.
Yeah.
Power pole!
Oh, that's trick.
So I'm adjusting this down as far as I can get it. We're trying to clear the power pole is the big thing. So then what we'll do is adjust the motor. If we get that all the way down, so what we'll have to do, we'll have to pull this off and put the motor raise bar in here, and then you'll be down far enough. It'll clear this, all the cords will run smoothly, and then your motor will actually raise up completely out of the water and clear everything.
Yeah.
We readjusted with the collar, took the collar off, put the raise bar in the steering triangle.
Inset it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now we have plenty of clearance. So now when you go to raise this motor, it'll come up all the way.
Clears this. Yep.
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 All right. So we're gonna run the motor lift line back here. We've already attached the carabiner where it goes. So what it's going to do is the line's going to come through this side. There's a set of eyes. It'll go through the carabiner and then back down to this eye on the opposite side. And that creates sort of a pulley, makes this motor easier to raise. It's not the full weight of the motor when you're raising this thing up. So there's a stainless steel eye inside of there. There's 4 of them actually, 2 on each side. Go up through carabiner, then down on the other side, and then we tie that off in there. Then once it's hooked up, like I said, it works like a pulley system, and it gives you less resistance when you're raising the motor. We'll use your track that you already have, and we'll put a Yak Attack track eyelet in here, and then that'll work as another point of contact for the cord to keep it away from your tank well. It doesn't rub on your H crate or anything like that. So,
all right, so we're gonna use, this is the Atrial mounting plate. We're gonna put, and you get a cleat that it comes with it, but I've started using these. I just ordered these off of Amazon. They're just little, I think they're sailing cam cleats of some sort. I want to keep this relatively close to where you're sitting, Mike, so that you can reach down and grab it. But I think it's going to go somewhere in here, and we're going to drill some holes on this, and we're gonna actually stick it that way. So we can also put, I think we have another tie down eyelet that we can run it through here. So basically the cord's gonna run up through here, through an eyelet. Somewhere up here we're gonna have to do the stealth pulley. I might mount it to there, but the idea is that it doubles back and then comes through that cleat. And I've got a PVC pipe handle that I've made for you, because I hate these knobs. Like, you're pulling a big motor, and that handle is good for the reverse lock, but I like a big, I'll just grab it. I just cut PVC pipe. and put a hole through there and run it through there, and that's a better pull handle for a bigger motor. So some of the little tricks that I've learned throughout the years that just make it easier to operate, get that motor up when you're coming shallow and you want to switch over to your Mirage Drive. You want it to happen like that. All right,
What do we got here? Talk to me.
we got the mounting plate for the Atrial, and we've put this just jam cleat on there. So we'll pull that for the motor lift, and it'll situate down with the weight of the motor pulling against it. And then when you want to drop it, it'll be a quick boop. We used a part of the Yak Attack tie down eyelet. We just did that to keep the line separated from there. What we're doing up at the top is that we're going to put this stealth pulley, the Yak Attack stealth pulley, right? So this is not the conventional, here's the stuff you get with the Torqeedo. These are little tricks. What you actually get with it, and this works, is this U-bolt, which you put in the track up here. Does the same thing. And then you get this cleat that has the track mounted hardware that you could put, and a lot of people put them, you've done an install where you've put these here, right? You've actually done this plus the reverse lock on the same pad, and it works. I've just done a lot of these installs and realized that I like this style cleat, and I like the Yak Attack part up front. So we're gonna do some.
Make sure we're far enough away from that and the other one.
So we've just lined up our cords to make sure that we have clear paths. I'm just doing a little pilot hole, and I don't need much. You get a nice good handle. Jam that thing up there, right?
Locks in.
And then push that down.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
When you want it to drop, come to me. Boom. Down it goes.
There you go.
All right, so we're gonna put the throttle, which doesn't have the cable on there yet, on this flush mount that Trey makes. It's a flush throttle mount, and I've just put the screwball on there as a way to interface with the ball connector. But before I put it on there, and I got some screws there, we're going to give a quick little WD-40 squirt into these little pins there. So that's an important step to kind of keep moisture out of there. I actually kind of scooted up through there. You want to get this part in first. Just makes it easier. Push that sucker in there. And then if you need to, you can push down on it or pull up on it to kind of slide it into place. But there's a notch there where my thumb is touching, and it corresponds with a notch on the inside. But you'll know, it'll kind of snap into place. So that's good to go. We'll take this. I did it where the T-bolt for the screw ball tucks right up in there, and then these screws line up. We have them right here. The key for the throttle is to have it tucked in here where it's out of the way of everything else, and that's why I've come up with this series of Yak Attack parts. Typically, on most kayaks we do the Yak Attack Torqeedo throttle mount, but because the geometry here is on a Hobie, specifically on a Pro Angler, is a little bit different. This piece here is going to attach to the pipe.
Oh, okay.
the framework of the vantage seat. So, but I just got to figure out, all right, we're going to start with it here.
Okay.
And you'll be able to move it to whichever side makes sense.
Right.
Because we'll have this on there. Let me go over the parts for this.
These are all the parts for this mount.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have the 1-ounce ball connector. We have two of the screw balls, and then we have this bar clamp. We put it on a Pro Angler that was in Trey's shop before we came up, and I looked at this and I'm like, it's too loose.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we grabbed a little piece of EVA foam, and I'm just sticking that in there.
Yeah, little spacer.
Yep, just to mash down on that, and that'll eat up some of the.
Yeah.
And it's on there.
Yeah.
For now, I just want to get that screw ball on there, and we tighten that in, and then you have some adjustability. I keep going as much as I can there. So this is Trey's flush mount, which we will get the throttle on there, but I just drilled a hole there and put the screw ball on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried this and figured it out yet, but I think we're gonna want it about like that. So the other thing that we're gonna want there is the reverse lock. So normally what we do is you can take a Yak Attack tie down eyelet, like it's what's running through back here, and put one up there, but then Mike will be reaching all the way up here. I want everything, including the reverse lock, to be close. Reverse lock, we're going through a tie down eyelet in this track. What do you think? We go through there, Trey? Come back here. I'm putting a small carabiner on. I think you get 4 or 5 of them. This is just so if when you take the motor off, you can unclip this carabiner and just leave the carabiner in the line just kind of dangling there. So the way that the reverse lock works, normally, I gotta flop this forward. Normally when you hit stuff, you hit the motor, and hopefully you got the rock guard on there, it'll kick up like this, right? But if say you're skipping a jig up, into underneath the canopy in front, and the wind is blowing you towards it, and you don't want that to happen, you just want a little bit of backwards thrust. Instead of the propeller pushing you forward, it will cut backwards, and it can pull. But if you don't have the reverse lock engaged, it will kick up. It'll go brrr and just jump up. You don't want that to happen. So this little, and come in close so you can see this. It has teeth here that lock onto this pin. Come top down so you can see right down in there. And that keeps it so you can go in reverse, but then when you relax it, it goes back to, it'll kick up when you hit stuff. So all this is doing is providing a way that you can clip this on and control it from the front of the boat, which we're going to run this line just right to here. And I think that's a pretty clean setup. I mean, that works.
I'm gonna install the rock guard. This is less than 2 pounds, and then this is another piece of Delrin. We like using Delrin because it's really rigid. It's not affected by heat, cold. It doesn't expand and shrink like ABS would do. Right. It's got a good UV resistance, and then it's got the stainless steel blade on it. So this one, I'm pretty sure, with the weedless prop, we have 2 different settings for the blade. It moves it in and out. And for the weedless prop, I'm pretty sure we need to move it in. And this thing will pinch your fingers if you have them in the way.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got that space there. So what I'll do is I'll pull it back off, and then we have an adjustment set of holes where we can move it back and it'll eat up that space. So there's no space between the prop and the blade itself. Keeps more weeds off of it.
Yeah. Grass cutter.
All right, I think we got it all rigged up. You ready to get it on the water?
I am so ready. I'm in the souped up kayak. Got the Torqeedo on the back. I feel like I can compete, get to new places, go longer distances. I can't wait to get it on the water. You know, testing it out in the shop is one thing, but I cannot wait to get it out on the water.
That's a really good range of rotation. That thing's gonna whip right around. Let's get it wet.
Let's do it. All right, everybody, I got to feel the speed and power of this Torqeedo. Now it's time to test out the maneuverability of this thing. Come on, let's go. Driver! Watch out! That was awesome, man! Oh, wow! You know, I don't know what to tell you except I've been in a lot of boats, from canoes to john boats to full-size bass boats to biggie small saltwater boats, and this for sure is one of the coolest rigs I've ever been in. Speed, power, the ability to cover distance, tight turning. This one has it all. I don't know what else to say. I just want to keep doing it over and over. This is another great look at why this is going to become such an effective tool for me. You talk about hands-free fishing, hands-free power. Look what I'm doing right now. Covering water with the ability to steer right, steer left, and still fish hands-free. That's going to be key. I am the kind of angler that loves to cover water. And this Torqeedo is going to be key for me covering vast, expansive water and fishing hands-free.
Be back. I just had to back off for a little bit. Now she's out. All right, I got her now. Got it. She's gonna get it. Got your ass. Got you, sucker. Got your ass. Yeah! Look at that! Tricky, tricky, tricky! Tricky fishy in the mouth. Pissing. It's a male. I'm gonna name this one Trey. Courtesy of the finder.
Just caught a real nice bed fish right there, and you know, I love bed fishing. It's a challenge. It's like hunting them. You know, it's like hunting that fish, stalking that fish. Every fish is different. Every fish has a unique personality. But here's one of the great things about having this Torqeedo on my Hobie is that in bed fishing, it's really a numbers game. So you find as many as you can, you mark them, you come back and fish them. I just caught that one. I know about another bed that's about a quarter mile up. With an oar, with my pedal drive, it's gonna take forever. With this Torqeedo, watch this. You ready for this? I'm off to my next bed. I hit a button.
It's a bluegill. Come and eat it. Crazy.
You know, we're out here, it's springtime, and there's a lot of spawning fish, but in between targeting spawners, it's good to have a coverage bait. This is one of my favorites. It's a swim bait. I like soft swim baits, but I really love these glide baits. And the great thing about a glide bait is you can cover a lot of water. It has a realistic look to it. And when you get bit, the bite tends to be bigger. So I'm a big fan of these glide baits. You know, people think glide baits, you need saltwater tackle. This is honestly this is an 8-foot heavy fast rod. This is the same kind of rod you use for, say, flipping. This is 25-pound fluorocarbon, and yes, it's a big bait, but I can fish it pretty normal. You know, I'm going to make a long cast with it, and the key to this glide bait is to get that bait to glide and then turn on itself. So a slow, medium retrieve, but I want you to watch this. Every once in a while, I throw a stutter into it, and that little stutter and that retrieve, that's what helps get that bait to turn on itself. And that's a real triggering mechanism. You know, you think about it. This bait looks real. It's a big bait. They're mesmerized by it. And it's gliding along. And when that fish is gliding along and you stutter stop it, it turns and that thing looks right at the fish. You know, fish are instinctual. And when a forage fish like a perch or a shad looks at a bass, they want to eat it. So really cool bait, really amazing bait, and it generates some monster strikes. Like this 8-pounder I'm about to get right here. Female sitting off the bed, choking it. Oh God. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God, it's a 6-pounder! Oh my God, it's a female! Oh my God! Oh, I'll try to get her. Oh my God! 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 Yeah! Yeah! That's what it's all about, man. If fishing doesn't get your blood going, if fishing doesn't get you excited, you got a problem. Let me tell you, man, you don't have to spend $100,000 on a full-size bass boat. Get a smaller craft, a kayak, a john boat, a raft. Get a Torqeedo, spinning rod, light line. Catch a few of those, it'll change your life forever. Yeah! In the mouth, by the way. Thank you, baby. This morning we've been bed fishing and we've been throwing a swim bait in between the beds. We caught 2 nice ones actually on the bed. Had a few bites on a soft swim bait. But I want everyone to remember, during the spring, when that water temperature is 60 degrees, give or take, not every fish in the lake is spawning. So one of the things you can do is move areas. We were in the lower end of the lake, they're spawning there. The middle or upper end, there's a good chance they're post-spawn or pre-spawn. Again, not every fish in your lake, river, or reservoir will spawn at the same time. So if you don't like bed fishing, if you'd rather target pre or post spawners, switch areas of the lake. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're heading up lake. We're going to fish the headwaters, hopefully catch a few post spawners, or maybe even some big pre-spawners. So we made a run here to the upper end of the lake, and it's a little deceiving because the upper end is shallow, it's flatter, but we have a creek right here. This is actually the main feeder of this body of water. And when I looked at my temperature, first thing I saw was we're about 2.5 degrees cooler back here. So, you know, where we have spawning fish down by the dam, I thought they'd be warmer up here and you have post-spawn fish. It's actually cooler. So now my mind's thinking this might be more of a pre-spawn area, but a lot of it has to do with the nights and that creek, right? Creek's flowing, always gonna be a little cooler. We've had some cold nights, so even though it's shallower, because of those cool nights, it warms quick, but it also cools quick. So keep an eye on your temperature gauge, stay fluid. You're going to find fish in every phase of the spawn. All right, hope you enjoyed yourself. Caught some good fish, sight fishing, doing a little swim bait fishing. You're going to be able to see all this on Mike IkeLive Fishing over on YouTube. But guess what? It's not over. We're headed back to the shop. We're going to do some more of custom installation on my Hobie kayak with some Burley Pro and Mariner Sales products.